Put on this computer. There we go.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another Cavalcade of Authors Town Hall. This time we are talking success in mind, new year, new you. And today I'm joined with three amazing gentlemen. National bestselling author, Shakir, Rashaan. And I have my wonderful friend in photography and brand manager for Russo's book, Jason Frost, as well as New York Times best-selling author and amazing creative mind, Stephen
Indeed.
Barnes, the Stephen Barnes. And I'm your host, jlwoodson, award-winning author, designer, graphic designer, photographer, brand manager. Nothing compared to these gentlemen right here.
Here we go.
And today, of course,
Start
like
shoveling.
I said, and today, of course, we are still, like I said, we are talking about success and dealing with our personal success, success within our family, success within our relationships, success within our careers. But I'm going to give you guys each a moment to introduce who you are and basically everything that I did not basically discuss. So go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and start with Shakir.
Perfectly fine. Gentlemen, it is a pleasure as always. My name is Shakir Rashaan. I am a national best-selling author of 11 in counting as far as the catalog is concerned, including 2 signature series, the Nubian Underworld and Kink PI series. My latest is the book that you see behind me, Love, Lust, and Beautiful Liars. That one was out as of May this year. At the current moment, that one seems to be hitting its own national best-selling status as well, hopefully a little bit more before it's all said and done. And that is the long and the short of it as far as I'm concerned.
Indeed. All right, Jason, go ahead and hit us, man, with your amazing know-how for books and photography and all that great stuff, man. Go ahead and hit us.
Absolutely.
What's up, fellas? My name is Jason Frost. I am living in Bakersfield, California right now. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. Right now, I work for Russo's Books. I work for another computer company, and I don't want to say.
Words on that front.
Yeah. And I'm a photographer. I've been in books for a long time. I love reading. I love authors. I love folks who take the time to sit down and give us stories, who give us different worlds to navigate. I love authors a lot, and I love readers. And that's basically me.
Awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Mr. Stephen Barnes. Go ahead and hit us, man.
Howdy. I guess I'm a storyteller. I mean, I've been writing for television and books and stuff like that for most of my life at this point. And there are really 3 things in life that interest me. Writing and things connected to that, martial arts and things connected to that, and my family and friends. And, if it doesn't involve one of those 3 arenas, I really don't do it. Luckily, you can connect almost anything to one of those 3 arenas. So I'm rarely bored. So, hoping that I'll have something to contribute to the conversation.
Indeed, of course. I know, like, each one of
As
us.
always.
Each one of us will. So in dealing with, like, now that we got a good glimpse of what everybody does, I want to basically to talk about the success of you guys. And basically, what does success mean to you personally, like on your personal level?
Honestly, as far as success for me personally, it all starts at home. I mean, being a husband and father has been the best job I could have ever had. Quite literally, between those 2 jobs, there could be nothing better. Having been married to mine for 17 years, we've been together almost 20. That in itself is its own brand of fun. It's been its own roller coaster. I've enjoyed every bump, every bruise, every whatever you can call it as far as that is, and it's been lovely. I mean, we've got 2 soon to be adult children. Our youngest is 17, getting ready to graduate early and all that other good stuff, and our oldest is getting ready to be deployed overseas. He'll be in Germany for the next 4 years. So it's just trying to navigate all of that and get ready for the next phase of life, so to speak.
Indeed, man. I mean, that's a lot of accomplishment. Like a lot of people that like of course I don't have kids yet, but at the same time, like just being able to take care of another human being,
Right.
all the way up to the point of adulthood. Like when you're 18, you gotta go. Bye, peace. But still, at least
Well,
that's what my mom told me. But,
look, my parents always told me, you know, even when you're gone, you're not gone. So it's always that.
indeed, man. I mean, that is facts. Jason, go ahead and hit us with your like. What does success mean to you on your personal level?
On a personal level, I mean, one thing back. Hey, Shakir, guess what, man? I was born in Germany. I was an army brat.
Wow. So was my
Yeah,
wife.
man.
Matter of fact,
Really?
same thing. My wife was. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. So success for me, I think personally, is small stuff. Like with
Mhm.
this whole COVID mess that's been going on, I think for me it was just getting out the house and doing something. Like getting out the house and walking. Um and for me it's also just not eating junk food and fast food. Um, it's like I said
Look,
for
that
the
is
little
a
stuff,
win.
it's like really really small, but it's really big because I would eat out a lot, and
Mhm.
you got health problems with that, and then of course, I mean, financially, fast food is expensive.
Very.
So those are the two things that I made myself do: get out and go walking, and that's been really nice. I took my camera out. I catch the cyclists that go by. That's been a lot of fun. And then just just not eating the fast food that I've been doing a lot for my entire life. So that's been really good for me. So I'm proud of that.
Good deal.
Indeed. Yeah, I can't really touch on that because of the fact it was Bay's birthday week. So we've been clowning. We
Oh
actually just had
yes,
Popeye's chicken sandwiches. So
absolutely.
I can't touch on that. But I
I'm
mean
still
that
cracking up. I'm still cracking up over the fact that yours and mine share the same birthday.
wow. I didn't even know that.
Yes, sir.
And then like like everybody is starting to define like Sagittarius season and stuff like that. I'm just
Mhm.
now finding out I'm friends with a lot of Sagittarius, I
Yeah,
didn't even
that
know.
part.
But Mr. Stephen Barnes, what
Well,
is the definition or how do you define success for you personally?
well, it's possible that the best definition of success I ever heard was the progressive realization of a worthy goal.
Mm,
And the question of what those goals are, I think the best answer to those I could touch on what's called the three centers, basically the belly, brain, the heart center, and the head center. In other words, your body should be healthy, your heart
mhm,
should be happy, and your mind should be clear. And within there you have things like hunting and gathering, being able to control your finances, and being able to create a bonded relationship with another human being, being able to feel safe in your space, and healthy, and animalistically alive in your body. Those things are the if you aim at goals in all three of those arenas, you'll run into all the emotional stuff that stops you, all the conceptual stuff that stops you. And in the process of overcoming those things, you'll pretty much learn everything you need to know as a human being.
I've never heard it put that way, but that
It's interesting.
is deep. Like, see, this is why I like talking to people, especially anybody who has been in my shoes or has been in some sort of shoes where it's like there's a progression and everything like that, because you get a chance to see what life is like for somebody else, but also what thing like we're always caught up in the whole materialistic version of success, like where people have the flashy cars, people always flashing money on their phone, like holding money up to their ear and everything like that. But sometimes it does take into account like there are the little things like raising a family, or did I actually meet my goal as far as weight loss today, or my steps and everything like that. So success is always especially in somebody else's eyes, I always feel like it's a little bit different when you can I like it when you can basically channel back from the materialistic version of it
Yeah, absolutely.
versus everybody wanting to basically jump all the way over to
But look,
not having the
the Dalai
small
Lama
stuff.
said that the meaning of life is to seek joy. So, whether you're talking about, worms or the smartest human being on the planet, everything is just trying to move away from pain toward pleasure. That's all any animal ever does. So the question is, how do you do that and stay in integrity with yourself and constantly learning? So the point of everything you do is to be happy. That's what we all want to be. That's what we all want. We want to not hurt. We want to feel good. We want to be happy. Everything else is just a means to that end. We want our bodies to be healthy so that we're not in pain. We want love so that we can share that. We want children so we can experience the joy of parenthood and watching them grow. And we want to be able to make money to be a healthy part of our community, as well as to be able to have the great things that money offers. But nobody will. The most important things are going to be the things of just personal health and love. Okay, money can't buy happiness, but it can remove a lot of pain.
That's true.
If you don't have a roof over your head, food on your table, can't buy medicine, that's pain. But once you've done that, what you'll find out is that the amount of pleasure that money gives you begins to diminish once you've got those basic things taken care of. And then it is that question of, who do I love and who loves me? And how do I feel? How does my body feel when I wake up in the morning? And am I in alignment with my own values? But those things become more important than money as soon as money has done its job, which is to create a bubble of safety.
Right.
But I think we also get into the whole thought process of comparison, which is basically like a devil all on its own. So like, have any of you like experienced like that whole mindset of comparing yourselves to another person's success? And if so, like, how did you get out of that?
I'll be the first one to say I probably have been. I've been guilty of it a couple times. What I have to do is get back to center, and for me, that means are the things that were needed to be done, have they been done? Everything else will play itself out. All I have to do is just keep to my square. As long as nobody's knocking me off my square, I'm good. So that's usually where I go at that point. Normally when people are, when I have that point where people are kind of getting on my nerves, so to speak, I rarely pop off on social media anyway. But those times when it does happen, either it's been a cascade of other errors that just led up to that point to where I just didn't have the filter that I needed to just say, okay, let me step back a minute, let me reevaluate, and let me try and do this a different way. On those days where it doesn't happen, I usually get it on the back end. But 9 times out of 10, it's usually my circle that's privately telling me, okay, you gotten it off your skin. Let's go. Let's get back to what we were doing.
Indeed. Jason, go ahead.
There are times that I compare myself to other people, especially with photography, because right now I have 2 part-time jobs that are pretty much full-time, working for somebody else. Now I don't necessarily hate them, but I don't like having to go into work for somebody else when I see what I could be doing with my photography. And I see other people that are doing great. I'm not jealous of that, but I'm like, I want to be able to do that. And I'm like, why aren't I there yet? What's the problem? And so I do see that, and I struggle with that. I mean, it's not a huge thing, but it does bug me. But going back to something that Mr. Barnes said about money doesn't create happiness. I think I would have to slightly disagree with that, because I think that if you take like a working man like me or somebody else, and you give them, X amount of money to where they can now do the things that they want to do without having to, go clock in or deal with this customer, especially it's Christmas retail. Good Lord, if I had hair, I'd pull it out. Then I think that I don't know. I think that maybe that person in that case might be a little bit happier than they are now.
Well, they're going to be a lot happier. Because you're removing the pain of going to a job that they don't want to be at.
Right.
So it's like, however, if you're doing something for a living that you don't want to do, if I gave you the same money that you were doing at that job, now you've got your stuff taken care of. And now the next question comes up, what now? Once you've got that pain taken care of, and that's what we do. We work, you go down in the coal mines, you hunt and gather, whatever. You go out and slay a mammoth, or you hunt the lion, whatever it is, and you get hurt in the process. But this is what you do to survive and to take care of your family. That's avoiding pain. Once you have solved that puzzle, though, the next question is, what makes me happy? And that's the thing. So if you're stuck in the I'm just avoiding pain, then yeah, money means the world. But at some point, it's going to be a matter of what makes me happy. And nobody wants money. What you want is the things that money can do for you. You want those bills paid. You want the food on the table.
The peace of mind.
This, you want that, right?
So money erases pain.
Yes, but money erases pain. But once you've got that pain erased, the value of money begins to drop off, and other things become more important, like health, like love, like connection, like contribution. So that's the trick, is to organize your life so that you move away, you take care of the pain, and you start being able to ask yourself, what do I want my life to actually be about? You know, you want to spend your time doing your photography. Why? Because it doesn't feel like work to you.
Great.
If you love photography, man, photography is your jam. If you could make all the money you need doing your photography, you'd kiss all that other stuff goodbye, and now you're in your bliss. So that's a problem. That's the kind of problem I love helping people solve. Not how do I take care of my pain, but how do I take care of my pain and start moving into a place where every day I wake up and think, God, I can't wait to get to work. I can't wait to do the things that I want to do. I can't, who can I help today? What can I learn today? It's moving from pain to pleasure. And this is one of the things that in a society that does not always respect us, we've had to deal with a lot of pain. And that has stopped us from asking the next set of questions. What do we really want? What really makes us happy? That's to me, that's the meaning of life, is to have joy and share it.
Absolutely.
Well said, man.
I think on that level, because of course, me, I'm only, how old am I? 34. For the most part, baby. I've always,
baby.
Oh my God.
Do you
and that's why
yet?
That's so wild.
No, just wait. But that's why I enjoy talking to guys like you, or pretty much anybody who has had that experience, because a lot of the stuff that I've gone through, I've gone through the whole motion of I've always wanted to just do graphic design full time, on my own, not have to clock in and everything like that.
Right.
And it's one of those things, now I'm basically getting into my groove. But even before that, it's one of those things where I have to clock in order to make sure these bills are paid.
That's
there's
right.
a roof over their head. There's this electricity and stuff like that. And it's of course, they're not teaching this type of stuff in school. They're teaching you to go to work and everything like that. And
if the teachers knew it, they wouldn't be teaching. Most of the teachers don't know the kind of stuff I'm talking about, because if they did know it, they wouldn't be teaching them. The kind of people who know what I'm talking about are the kind of people who'd still be at their job if they won the lottery. See, if I won the lottery, my life would be almost exactly the same. See, until you get to that point, you're surviving. And there's nothing wrong with surviving. That's wonderful to survive. Thank God. Many people don't, but there's more. It's more. It's possible to be happy in your life in a different way than most people get, and most Black people have been raised to believe in.
I've never heard anybody say that, Stephen.
Huh?
That if you won the lottery, your life wouldn't change.
Ain't too many, because I'm not gonna be. I'll be the first one to tell you that's a lie in my book. I'll be in a whole different situation in words that I can't even express right now.
But I think for the most part, even with just the whole lottery portion, even if I think this is the part where we're trying to get to.
Yes.
Even if I won the lottery, I would still be doing graphic design.
Yes.
Exactly.
So therefore,
if I won the lottery,
I'd still do what you should be doing. If you ask yourself the question, if I won the lottery after the first year of just running a fool, what would I be doing with my life? Whatever that is, that's what you should aim at, because making money at anything is just a matter of learning marketing and sales. That's all it is. You can sell pet rocks and make $1 million. So it's you can write, and support yourself and do the thing that you love. You can do graphic design and support. You can do photography. It's get good at this thing, but the way you make money from it is different from how good you are at the thing.
Right.
See, those are two different things, and you have to separate the two of them out and really grasp that. This is not the conversation we're having here is not a normal conversation.
No,
I just decided that I'm going to take my mask off in this sense and talk about, my mom got me started thinking about this stuff when I was a kid. We were very poor, but she gave me a way of thinking. And then she set me loose in the world, and I began to gather these things. So I have some, hopefully I have some things that are going to help, to share. I'm sure that all of us have things that we could share with each other that would be just wonderful. And it's great to be talking to men. And be able to talk real about this stuff. And who else are we going to talk to? Where are we going to get it from?
I mean, understandable on that. I mean, for the most part, like, of course, like I learned a lot of success, like a lot of my success, or I owe a lot of it, of course, to my mom, because she's the one who's like the drive, the push, and everything like that. Like, and for the most part, I like when we say like we grew up poor and everything, or people say they grew up poor, like I didn't know we were. And that's the thing, like that's where I basically gathered that whole part where success is a mindset for the most part. Because like I thought we were living nice, like, but of course we had the what's that, the cereal that just said cereal on it. We had noodles for lunch. We had hot dogs with just, I did not know hot dogs on a regular piece of bread was a struggle meal. I did not know that.
Your parents protected you.
That's really what that is at that point. It's no different than what I had to deal with as a child growing up with my parents. Yeah, we weren't necessarily on that kick where everybody was like, okay, yeah, we're in that upper middle class and all that other stuff and whatever. But at the same time, there were things that there were still wants that were satisfied. There were still needs that were handled, and there was no struggle there. Even though they made, I'm sure talking to my parents now, or talking to my mom now, I'm sure she tells us a whole lot of stuff that we didn't know growing up. Right. But that's really what that was at the end of the day. And the same thing happens, as you're bringing up your own kids, you kind of give them that bubble, so to speak, where they can still be kids. They don't need to deal with adult problems until it's time to be an adult.
Right.
That's what we try to strive for as parents. We try our best to do so. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed, but you still live to fight the next day.
See, this is the type of stuff that like we don't get a whole lot of that, especially my generation. Well, most of my generation. I can't generalize for everybody, right. But because we don't necessarily know everything that our parents have to go through. Like we could see like they have the frustration on their face. We could see that like, okay, maybe there's something going on but we don't know that they are struggling to pay the next bill. We don't know that type of stuff. So I think because even when it came as far as success for me, I look for the little things that make it successful, like whether I'm able to pay bills and everything like that, or whether I'm able to like just be happy with what I'm doing, or with the fact that you see other people who are basically maintaining their families and maintaining their lives, even if they aren't married or anything like that. The fact that they were able to get through the whole year, through a job, through a pandemic, through all the stuff that is going on, and still came out okay. That's, even though that's little into a lot of people's eyes, that's still big to me. It's
a lot at the end of the day, because a lot can go worse. A lot could have gone a hell of a lot worse for a lot of people if they really sat down and took a look at it at that particular point. I mean, there are people who have lost family, who have lost close friends, who have, lost quite literally their better half. I couldn't tell you what would have happened if I lost mine.
Yeah, I mean that's serious. I think that's that's another portion where we need to jump into, is definitely like, I'm in a relationship. I know you guys are married, so this is one of those things where it will basically help me as far as what you guys share with me, because like, of course I want to be married one day. So as far as success, like especially sharing your success with your loved one, with your wife, how basically did you achieve that portion? Like, I know we talk, like a lot of times we talk heavily about communication and everything like that, but I'm pretty sure it's much more than just communication to have a successful relationship or a successful marriage.
I'll defer to Mr. Barnes or Mr. Frost on that one before I say anything. Let me put it that way.
Well, I'll defer to Mr. Frost before I say anything.
Is this
Look
thing
at
on?
we're gonna put this man on the spot. Oh man.
Right, so I know for me and for my relationship, it's forgiveness, man.
What a cutie.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She is
Yes,
freaking
indeed.
beautiful.
And she's one of your models too.
Yeah, my favorite model.
There you go.
Forgiveness, man, and just I think that's the biggest thing is just, I know every husband says, nobody can put up with me except for her. But man, I mean that. I am not easy, not even close. She's helped me become better. She's helped me become easy. But it's just, I mean, I mess up, she messes up, and sometimes you mess up big. You just do,
Yeah.
I've been married about the same time as you, Shakir, about 20 years. We married 3 days shy of knowing each other for a year. I was 27, I was 28, she was 27. So I mean, we waited a while, and I mean, so I was sure. I had my single life and done all that, and it was like when I met her, it was like we just kind of knew. But I think just for us is just forgiving, and I mean doing a lot of talking, and she supports me, and just she's the teacher, she has a career. She has a career and she loves teaching. Like I said, with going with what Steven said, if we won the lottery, she'd probably be one of the ones that would still teach. I would probably say
that's a real teacher.
Yeah.
If she would still teach even after she won the lottery, that's the kind of teacher you want.
Yeah.
That's the kind of teacher that can inspire a student, because that's a teacher who is in love with the process of teaching.
Right.
So those, if you have 12 years of grade school education plus 4 years of college or whatever it is, you probably only really remember about 4 teachers. And those teachers are the ones who love teaching, and they set you on fire.
Definitely.
That's her. Without a doubt.
Excellent.
Yeah. So but it's just, I mean, every day is different. So we just keep pushing on, and I mean, it's nice to go home and have her and sit down and talk. And there are times where I'll come home from work from the other computer place, JL hush. I'm like, I don't want to, I just, and I go in the room. She doesn't take offense to that because she understands when I'm ready, I come out and we talk and chit chat, and I kiss her and she kisses me, and we just go about, that's I think that's what 20 years and being a friend will do, because she understands that I'm not avoiding her. I just need to decompress from that,
See, and that's the part that, like, in my relationship, like, I'm not used to, because of the fact, like, any other relationship that I've had, like, it's one of those things where, they always want to be around me and everything like that, want to be hugged up and cuddled up and everything like that. And in this relationship, she will go into the other room and everything like that, straight from coming home from working out or socially distancing working out. Let me throw that out there. She will go straight to the room, and I'm over here thinking, like, in the beginning of the relationship, I'm like, something wrong. Did I do something? Like, what happened? She just went straight to the room and was just quiet.
I will tell you in a heartbeat, sir, being married to a Sag for the last almost 20 years. when they are good with their independence. They have no problems with you doing what you need to do, and they will handle everything that they need to handle while you're doing what you're doing. That one right there, love her to the moon and back. I promise you this. And the things that she has allowed me to do, being that anchor, so to speak, I think that's really what it is more than anything else, because I can take off in a heartbeat and do whatever it is I need to do at that point. And every time that I feel like I'm a little off key, I can see her in that storm. And that's the thing that you realize more than anything else. That's when you realize that she's the, and I'm almost certain that that's the case with you and yours, is that she will have that ability to be that anchor that you need to be when you're just all over the map trying to get other things done and you need that quick settle.
She is actually, like, a good majority of the time, because like she works in higher education for like career services and everything like that. So she is basically helping out many students basically find different jobs and everything like that. But also she does her hair and makeup YouTube channel. She does wig reviews, and we also do a podcast together, If It Isn't Love podcast. But she is one of the people who is a planner. Like, I'm not saying like I can't plan anything, but when it comes to having a strategic plan for everything to make sure this, whatever we're doing, goes successful, she's that person.
Right.
And I guess like I'm not trying to disregard or play any of my past relationships or anything like that, but this is one of those first relationships where I'm like, yo, like, I'm noticing, like, even with like what Jason said, like forgiveness and everything like that, like we've had like a couple of arguments and everything like that it wasn't bad, but at the same time we both knew it could get bad. And I think that's where the maturity basically lies in our relationship, where we need to basically be able to go to our own corner versus being those people who just going head to head all the time just to prove that one is right. Because like in the end, what I'm learning from a lot of, like, especially learning to forgive somebody who one thing that I try not to do in the argument is say something that I can't take back.
That part, do not ever. I mean, I can tell you in a heartbeat, it'll kill you later, because you can't take it back. It's just no way. You feel like you want to be vindictive, and you know, sometimes the better part of you will probably decide to want to be convicted. You know what I mean? Be vindictive. Try your damnedest to avoid that at all.
That's not the better part of you.
Excuse me.
If it wants to be vindictive, that by definition, that is not the best part of you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's that. Yeah. So
label that voice.
In that regard. Yeah, I'm misspeaking that regard. The worst part.
One of the good piece of advice I heard is keep your fights clean and your sex dirty.
That part.
I love it.
I'm not mad at any of what you just said right there.
You know, may I make some comments about relationships?
By all means.
Yeah, man.
All right. So, yes, that is my baby, the wonderful, amazing one and only Tanana Reeve do. We are partners in every sense of the word. We write together, we play together, we spend all day together. Even before COVID, we spent all day together, and we make it work. She's my soulmate. There's no question about that. And we put a lot of thought into it and how we did it. So one of the things that I think the easiest thing to look at was a realization I had that I made a list of everything I wanted in a woman, and without any compromises at all. I mean, I just literally sat down and wrote it down, everything I wanted in terms of looks, intelligence, passion, sincerity, openness, all that stuff. And I realized I was looking for a lioness. And the one thing that is true is a lioness wants a lion and deserves a lion. So if I'm going to have a lioness in my life, I need to be a lion. So the quality of the relationship that you have is going to be in direct relationship to the quality that you've done your work on yourself.
Agreed.
You know, that it's to be able to walk through life together, to be able to hunt together. We're a hunting pair.
To have
In
the
that- in
ability
that-
to have that person match your energy.
That's right. I have to match her energy. Otherwise, I should let her go. If I cannot match her energy, her ambition, if I, a winner, a person who is a performer will push themselves to failure. You go to the gym, you push iron until muscle failure, right? The same thing is true about life. If you push yourself every day as hard as you can to be the best you can, you're going to break yourself. There's going to be a moment when you can't do it. You're not going to be strong anymore. And you have to hit that point. The only way you know how far you can go is by going too far, is another expression.
Absolutely.
So unless you're with somebody who understands that you've pushed yourself and now you're weak and you need to rest. Now you're weak and you need a shoulder to cry on. Now you're weak and you need to be cuddled, or whatever that is, then you will never be able to push yourself to your limits, because you're going to try to be strong all the time. The only way you can be strong all the time is if you never give it everything you've got.
Right.
Now, in my life and in her life, we both give it everything we've got. So that means there has to be some place where we can drop our act. We can drop our mask, where somebody who understands that. And if I can't be that for her, if I really care about her, I need to let her go and find someone who can be that for her. Luckily, I had a real sense when I met her that I could be that person for her. So I did, it was the story about how I met Tananarive. We met at a African-American Fantastic Imagination Conference at Clark Atlanta University. It was Black science fiction writers. Octavia Butler was there, Chip Delaney, and these people. And it was great. I mean, it was just everybody in the field who, had melanin in their skin was in that room. You could have rolled a grenade in that room and killed a whole generation of writers. And Tananarive was there. And she was just getting started at that point. She was not Tananarive Due in caps. She was just, cute, and she'd published one, maybe her second book had just come out. No, her second book, I don't think it had even come out yet. But I heard her give a presentation on stage about how she got Stephen King to give her a cover blurb for her second book. And I realized she was brilliant. I said, oh my God, that was such beautiful tactical strategic thinking that enabled her to do that. And as soon as I saw her power in that sense, I just felt this chill. It was like this chill went up my spine. It's like, oh my God, I'd never felt anything like that in my life. And this is the honest truth. Until I'd heard her talking and I realized how smart she was, I had not really noticed how cute she was. I thought thought she was nice, and I was being very polite to her, and being kind of fraternal to her. But it was at that moment, it was like, oh my God, this is, so it's like, what do I do? Because it was like love at first sight. So we were both going to be leaving the conference the next day. So I said, and she lived in Florida, and I lived in Washington State. So unless I did something right then, there was a possibility of ships passing in the night. So I said, what do I do to get her attention? What do I do? So I looked over at the woman who was sitting 2 seats down from me, and she had a baby on her lap. And I looked at this woman, I said, excuse me, ma'am, can I borrow your baby? And she said, what? Now, she knew me from the conference. I said, I don't want to take the baby out of the room. I just really love babies, and I just like to play with your baby a little bit. And she said, okay. So I took the baby and I got down. Tananarive was down off the stage signing autographs, and I got down on the floor in front of her and started playing with the baby.
Oh, wow.
I knew that there was no way a Black professional woman in her 30s could look at an available Black professional man who loved babies without her hindbrain going ding, 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 ding.
How about that? Holy smokes.
And by the next day, we were sitting at Clark Atlanta at Atlanta Hatfield Airport, holding hands, leaning our heads against each other, talking about how we could build an empire together.
How about that?
No, just a note. We can't do that. Like, if I was to be single right now, I can't do that. Like, ask nobody for their baby without being like, police, please.
No comment.
That's because you have
bold.
sense. You have sense, my friend. I have no sense. I have no limits. I have a center, but I have no walls. I'll say anything. I'll do anything as long as it's in alignment with my values. If I had done that and had been lying about how much I love children, That would have been one of the dirtiest things I could possibly have done.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
the thing is, it was true. I was saying to her, I think you are magnificent. And if you will give me a chance to show you who I am, I swear we will have children together. I will protect them. I will do everything I can to make you a happy woman in this lifetime. I just completely opened myself and said, this is what I am. If you see something here that you like, here it is. And you can't do that unless you're safe within your own heart. If she'd said no, it would have been okay. I would have been just fine. In fact, I had a date lined up on my way home. But
There you go.
the fact is that she was what I was looking for. And God had put her in front of me. And God had said, here she is. Are you man enough to step to this? Can you be honest enough? Can you be passionate enough? Can you be real enough? And what I said was, yes, I can. This is who I am. This is what I have been preparing myself for my whole life, to find someone who I can really be me with. I can just wake up in the morning and I'm who I am, and I'm who I am all day long. And at night, I'm who I am. I don't have to pretend. I'm done pretending about who I am. I mean, but I needed somebody in my personal life who gets that. And we fight like cats and dogs at times. And because we write together, the artistic, the creative arguments can be horrific. But one of the first things we worked out when we got together was the relationship itself is never on the line. We're going to fight about our writing, but we will never threaten to walk away from the relationship. Ever, ever, ever. That is not on the table. So no matter how nasty the argument gets, the relationship is in another room. This is just a conversation between people because we're trying to make our work the best it can be.
Right.
Relationship is different. Neither of us is looking for the door. This is it. We both know that. I can't promise her I'm going to be perfect. But what I said to her is, if I ever mess up, please, we'll go to therapy. We'll do whatever is necessary. Don't throw me away because I make a mistake. I'm not perfect, but I love you with all my heart. I'm honestly doing the best I can. And she's honestly doing the best she can. How can two people ask for more than that? Maybe you can't be together, but I could love her and watch her go if necessary. But I'd rather love her and walk at her side and protect her and have her care for me for a lifetime.
See, that's the stuff that makes longevity a reality. Because, like, man, like you see a lot of people that go through different relationships. Like, of course, I've had, like, most of my relationships are like long. Like my longest one was like 6 years and everything like that. Granted, probably should have made some different decisions, like as far as like knowing when to cut it off.
Right.
But I think it's in terms of like being with the person who knows how to support you. Like Jason said, like even with Jason, like she is your top model.
Absolutely.
Your wife is your top model. How important is it to you how important is the fact like she supports you in your photography and whatever you want to do?
If I was to quit my 2 jobs now and do photography, she would support that, because she would. Now I wouldn't do that because I'm a father, I'm a husband, I have responsibilities. But her level of support is that. Okay. And maybe 3 months ago, we sat down and had a hard talk because I didn't like what I was doing. And I was like, I really want to do this, but I can't support us with that. And to be honest, because it's always been this way, because she's the breadwinner. She's the master's degree. She's the teacher. She has all that stuff. But she's never thrown that in my face ever, and that means a lot. But again, knowing that we could probably squeak by, I just don't want to do that. So, I mean, if I found something in photography that I could do part-time and still keep the bookstore and give up the other job, I do that in a minute. And she would support that, because I don't want to stop. I love working in a bookstore. I just, man, I'm not going. This place ain't gonna get rid of me at all. And if I could do photography and that, then I'm fine with that. And she would be fine with that. And it's nice knowing that I had that if I wanted to do that. But I won't, because it's not feasible. We got COVID going on, and we just got.
Yeah, there's all that.
Yeah.
If you are safe in a job right now, that is a blessing beyond price.
That part.
You don't, all adults understand sometimes you have to delay your gratification. So right now, you're able to take care of the pain. In other words, pay your bills, so forth, doing something that you enjoy doing. That's huge. So I get it. If you can figure out how to move that to all your time is spent doing the thing that you love, that's fantastic. But just being able to pay the bills, you're in the adult world. You're a man. If you can do that and enjoy what you're doing, you're blessed. If you can spend all your time doing, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. I'm very aware that I'm lucky beyond belief, that I had role models. I had people who helped me to understand that aspect of the game. It isn't because I'm so smart. It's because I was really lucky in terms of the teachers that I have. That's why I'm so passionate about this. I just want to give this away. But you're in a blessed place in a time when people are living on the street and wondering about where their meals are coming from and coughing up blood. So it's like, my brother, I am so happy for you that you have that, and that you have a woman who embraces that about you. This is, you're great. You're doing great. Can you do better? Can't we all?
Yeah, there's always that.
I mean, yeah, for the most part, because we, especially even though, like right now we're talking about COVID and dealing with health, like we just had a scare, like we talked about before, like where I was tested positive for COVID, and I honestly thought it was the flu at first. So I'm over here thinking I can get over it and whatnot. And it wasn't until we actually, like, I started having breathing problems, like I couldn't breathe on my own. Luckily, I had someone here with me, and she tested negative, thank God. But for the most part, she was that person who took care of everything. Like, I talked about this on our podcast, where like I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for the fact, like, she was able to, like, none of us knew really what to do about this, because this is new for us. COVID is new for us, at least. And we didn't know where to go. Like, we just knew we need to get me to a hospital. But she was able to keep my mom sane by making sure she knew what was going on, this, that, and the other. And I think about the fact, like, okay, I ain't crying. I ain't crying.
Got you, bro. We got you. No worries, man. I get it.
It's totally all right. Ain't nobody here gonna laugh at that.
Oh, hell no, not by a long shot.
If I don't cry a couple times a week, something's wrong with me. I'm not aware of my blessings. I'm not aware of wonderful to have a 16-year-old boy sleeping safely in the next room. I can feel tears because my cat is healthy. I mean, it's just, that's you're in touch with your emotions, my friend. You're alive.
Indeed. Absolutely. I mean, I try to basically keep that, like, but at the same time, like, off camera, like, she knew, like, when I got home, and like, actually when I first saw her, like, that's when I broke down. I'm like, yeah. But as far as shit.
Exactly. There you have it. Right, basically there. My bag, man. That part right there.
That's crazy.
But nah, bro. Here's the thing that you have to understand. Yes, we're supposed to be the rock in the relationship. We get that. We are conditioned for that, as far as that is. You still have to have those times where you can sit down and let somebody else take care of you. You have to have those moments, man, because if you don't, what I think it was something my grandfather told me a long time ago. You may not pay attention to it, but your body gonna make you do it.
Yeah.
I've told women that, I've told guys, the woman a man is going to fall in love with is the one who knows that he is strong, but if he breaks down and cries on her shoulder, she doesn't think him any less a man.
That part.
That, if a woman who can do that, he will never leave her. If he knows he can really show his heart to her, and he still turns her on, woof. I mean, it's like, I mean, that's what we're all looking for.
Mhm.
You know, someone who sees us, not the game, not the mask. You see, you know, see me. You know, I'm
Mhm.
still the same little kid I was when I looked out at the world and wondered if there'd be a place for my dreams. Wondered if I'd ever feel safe.
Mhm.
You know, and you know, all the martial arts stuff. I spent over almost a half century in the martial arts, and all that. None of that stuff was about wanting to be a badass. It was wanting to feel safe, to be real, to be, you know, to be soft, you know, to be able to know that I can take care of myself. So that's dealing with the pain. The next
Right.
question after that is, well, what's the pleasure? What do I want? What do I want to be? You know, if
Yeah.
I'm not worried about getting hurt, if I'm not worried about what people think about me, I'm free to be myself. And you have to earn your way to that unless your parents can create a space that is safe enough for that.
Mhm.
We try to do that for our children, keep them safer than we were so that they can stand on our shoulders. You know, that's my daughter, you know, who's 33 now and just, you know, out in the world doing her thing. I'm so proud of her. My 16-year-old son, who's just beginning to feel his power as a man and wondering how he's going to have what my wife and I have in our relationship. All you want to do is give them that so that they can thrive and be happy. You know, it's
But see, here's the thing: when, like, especially somebody my age or younger, we don't necessarily see this all the time because, like, we don't see, you know, people actually, you know, working to make it work or working to organically make it work. I don't want to say make it work, make it seem like it's forced, but at the same time, I mean, I'm learning a little bit more now
It's
than ever
work.
because
Anybody who tells you that it just happens by itself is lying to you.
And then,
Fitness does not
Yeah.
happen by itself.
AF.
You know, books don't
Lying
happen
AF.
by themselves. It is work. You know, this is one of the smartest piece of advice I ever heard was about parenting, where this woman was getting her kids off to school and was worn out. And she said to the grandmother who lived next door, said, parenting is so hard. And the grandmother said, parenting isn't hard. It's just daily. And that's relationships, that's love, that's life, that's fitness. It's just chop wood, carry water. You're going to do this crap every day. So love it. Embrace the work, embrace the suck. You know, it's like, yeah, it's hard, and be tough. And I'm doing this hard thing for my family. I'm a man. I mean, it's, you know, I'm an adult. It's simple if you stop fighting it. It's just, you're going to work hard every day. So play hard too and have fun and have somebody at your side that turns you on and makes you feel like, yeah, I want to show off for her. You know, I want her to be turned on by me. When I come out of the shower, you know, it's like if I look good naked and my wife thinks I do, then, you know, all is right with the world.
Further questions. I said no further questions on that one. You said everything that needed to be said on that front.
I just think we live in a, for the most part, like, I don't want to say generalize with everybody, but we do have a lot of people have a selfish mindset, if you will. Like, so when it comes to trying to take care of somebody who's not necessarily your wife or anything like that, but she is a person who is near and dear to you.
Yes.
It's a different kind of taking care of, because, like, I remember when we first got into a relationship, and, like, she was not moving back to Chicago. She made that plain and clear. She's like, I'm not moving back to Chicago. You're going to have to move down here if you want to be with me.
Okay.
Here I am. And it was one of those things where, like, when I moved, all I had was just my graphic design. Like, I quit my job. So basically when I got down here, it was one of those things where I just did not have a job. And it was that mindset, like, you know, you're supposed to take care of your woman and everything like that. And then when you're actually living in the house with her and everything, it really hits you that, like, man, I really need to make something happen, because, like, what if she didn't work? What if she lost her job today? We have to make sure these lights stay on. We have to make sure, you know, the car note is paid. We have to make sure. It's a different kind of care when, especially, like, what if she's going through the health issues? And like, I think about that type of stuff because, like, There's been a couple of times where she has been sick, and I'm like, yo, luckily, you know, I had a witch doctor for a grandma. Like, she had all the medicines and, you know, putting herbs and alcohol, green alcohol together and whatnot.
Right.
But I think like how do you guys manage that part where it's like, or even in the beginning of your relationships where it's like you get out of the selfishness, or if you were?
I think the thing that for me personally, and that I'm sure the other gentlemen can kind of come in on that as far as that is, one thing that I was taught growing up is that compromise is not a bad word.
Mm.
I think that was the thing that was the most important of all, is that compromise is not a bad word. There are things that I have to give up. There are things that she had to give up. And between that, we were able to make it work in the way that we needed to make it work and move forward as a unit. Anybody that knows me, anybody that knows us in the various worlds that we walk in, we move as a unit. It's very rare that I move singular from her and vice versa, because we've been used to moving as a unit. It's gotten to the point to where if they see me without her, the first thing out of their mouth is, what's going on? What's wrong? You know, that type of thing. That was the consistency that we decided to set up at that point. But there are things that we felt that needed to be done at the beginning to get to that point to where we can move as seamlessly as we could, to the point to where people were like, yeah, there she is and there he is. And nothing else is different. But compromise is not a bad word.
Indeed.
Let Jason make a comment there, and then there's something I'd like to say.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, he said go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with selfishness. There is a problem with your definition of self. That all animals, all people are selfish, but some people have an expanded sense of who they are. Some people, you know, they include their wives and their family in their self. That I am my family. I am my community. I am my people. I am humanity. It's feeling safe enough to expand that, so that you start realizing that everyone's fate is connected to you, let alone the person who you're most intimately connected to. You know, but I wanted to make sure not to miss an opportunity to talk specifically about the question of success in the monetary arena.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that is, I'm blessed right now. You know, a couple of years from now, everything could be falling apart. But right now, just to be honest, things are working great. Okay. And I like to share the things that I've been doing that help make that possible with your kind indulgence. If
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We can
That was the
definitely.
next topic.
Here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to write down the word magic, because I've boiled down the most basic aspects of what I do into that acronym. Okay. And this is after a lifetime of studying these things. There are going to be other approaches and other people who have things and people who've accomplished much more than I have. But I can tell you in all sincerity that if you will do what I'm about to tell you, you will increase your success. So the most important thing, it's MAGIC, right? So M is map or model. The secret to my success in everything is I find somebody who's better at it than me and find out what they're doing. And then I do that. It's like, you know, it's like I taste a cookie that I like. Who baked this cookie? Let me follow around in the kitchen for a day and get their recipe and get their procedure. So whatever it is that you intend to do in life, and I suggest that one of them should be some particular amount, you know, a monetary thing. I want to do the thing I love and make a lot of money in the process. You know, so find the people who are doing better than you at money and start studying that. So you've got a map of what you need to be doing in order to get the thing that you want. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is A. So that's M. A is action. Every single day, you need to be taking some small amount of action that will take you to your goal. And it should be a small enough amount that it doesn't intimidate you. For instance, what I teach my students, my writing students, is you need to write at least one sentence every day. Everybody can write one sentence, but the fact is that if you commit to writing one sentence every day, you can write a book a year. Because once you've written one sentence, you've broken away from everything else. You've gone to your office, you've booted up your computer, you've got your drink, you got your coffee, you're sitting there, and once you've written one sentence, you might as well write a paragraph. And once you write a paragraph, you might as well write a page.
And by the time it's all said and done, you don't realize how far you've gotten.
Exactly. So what you do is you lie to yourself. And what is the smallest, what I call the atomic element, the smallest unit that if you did it regularly would take you where you want to go, and just make damn sure you do that every day. So it's, the first thing is map or model. A is action. What action do I need to take? Every single day of my life, I will exercise, I will write, I will let my family know that I love them. I do not let a day go by without connecting with all three of those things. That's it. Even if it's a small amount. Okay. The third thing is gratitude. You have to control your emotions. Every day you should be thinking about what you're grateful for, what God gave you. And if you're in a situation where you can't think of anything you're grateful for, think about what you'd miss if it was taken away. Your eyesight, your legs, a roof over your head. If you would be unhappy if you lost it, you should be grateful that you've got it. Because if you can be grateful now for the blessings you already have, now you can believe that there will be more blessings in the future. But if you think, no, I never had anything, how are you ever going to get anything? You've got to if you get your emotions straight, so that you're thinking about, well, what do I have to write today? No, it's not what do I have to write today. It's what do I get to write today? I get to do this for my family. My body, thank God my body is healthy. I get to work out again today. Wow. Think about how you're going to miss it when your body falls apart and you're not going to be able to. So every day you should be flooding yourself with the positive emotions. Just literally think about, thank you, God, for all of this or all of this, and feel it. You think about the women that you have described in your life. These are beautiful, brilliant, sexy women who love you. You have every reason in the world to feel blessed among men. Let yourself feel that. That emotion will power you. And I mean every single damn day. Every single day. You understand me? The third thing is I. So that's M-A-G-I. That's intention. You need to have clear goals. Clear goals. And you write them down. It's like, for instance, you want your graphic design. You'd like your graphic design to make X amount of money. What's the number that you want that you would like your graphic design to make? Just give me the number.
$85,000.
$85,000 a year. Fine. Plenty of people make $85,000 a year doing graphic design. You could be one of them. Okay. It's like your attitude needs to be, if there's only 2 sandwiches left in the world, you're going to get one of them. It doesn't matter how many people can do that. You are responsible for you. So if you say, I'm going to make $85,000 a year in graphic design in 3 years, now you've given yourself all the space that you need to figure it out. Now all you do is you find the people who are making that kind of money, you talk to them, you read articles about them, you study them. What is it that they do every day that is different from what the unsuccessful people do? Fill yourself with gratitude so you have belief, and you focus on that intention. It's like driving to Disneyland. You keep in mind where it is that you're going, and you stay on that road. And there's going to be a lot of distractions and stopping for gas and changing tires, but every day you're getting a little closer. And the last thing is courage or conviction. That's a C, courage or conviction. You have to believe that you can and should do it, that you have the right to do it, that what you are offering people is so valuable that it's worth 10 times more than you're asking in terms of money. And if you don't feel that that's the case, then get better at what you're doing. Getting better at anything. I don't believe in talent. I believe in honesty and hard work over time. If you don't feel like I'm not good enough to make $80,000 a year doing this, but I will be. Then all you have to do is, how good do I have to be able to make the kind of money that I want to make? Well, I'm going to be that good. And I'm going to work on it until I am that good. And here's the trick. If you measure yourself from 0 to 9 in each of those categories in terms of how clear your map is, how much action you're taking, how much gratitude you feel, how clear your intentions are, your goal is, and how much confidence and courage you have, as long as you don't have a 0 in any of those categories, you're safe. You're in the game. But if you have a 0 in any one of those categories, if you don't have a map or a model of what you're trying to accomplish, if you're not taking action, if you're filled with negative emotions, if you don't have a goal, and if you are too scared to go after it, if you have a 0 in any one of those categories, the whole equation zeroes out. The whole equation zeroes out. But if you've got at least a 1, a little bit, just a vague concept of the map, you're taking a little bit of action. You feel okay emotionally, but not terrific, but okay. You kind of have a sense about your goal. You have a little bit of confidence in yourself. As long as you have at least a 1 in each of those categories, you can make forward progress. Just make sure you do not have a 0 in any one of them. And if you will check on those 5 things every day, I promise you that a year from now, you'll be in a completely different place in your life.
I got my notes down.
And there's for this particular segment.
No, I mean, okay, so in a lot of that, especially when it comes to just even touching on like even just confidence or understanding the action part of it, we did, like, especially as creators, we deal a lot with like imposter syndrome. We deal a lot with procrastination, which I've been told that procrastination or imposter syndrome is like the theft of success and everything like that. Right. Have you guys ever dealt with that? And if so, like, how did you guys get through that?
I think it's a matter of always forward progress. The thing I always told my kids was to always move forward, regardless of what it is that needs to be done. The minute that you feel like you're not doing the things that you need to do that day to move that 1 inch closer or whatever it is that needs to be done, then you need to figure out how to need to move twice as fast that next day to at least just maintain the level that you want to maintain. My kids swear up and down that I don't sleep. They'll tell you in a heartbeat, he don't sleep. He's constantly up doing something. He's constantly in motion. And I got that from my grandfather. I got that from my father, because they were never comfortable being in stasis. They were always trying to find something that they needed to do to either improve or felt like they needed to learn or whatever it was at that point. Even at the age that I'm at right now, and I already know I still got more that I need to do. There's more that I need to accomplish. There's more that is there for me to move and create and whatever it is at that point. It's just that way. Your best bet is always to find something to improve. You're not going to be perfect. I mean, yes, there's that cliche of, it takes 10,000 hours to master something. That's not my mentality. You get past your 10,000 hours. Okay, cool. But there may be something that may have changed in the time that you were taking them 10,000 hours to learn, to master, that now you have to take that extra time to figure out at that point, because the market's always shifting. The industry is always changing. So you always have to find something that you need to do to improve. There's no way you're going to sit back on your laurels. The classic line from Andre 3000, you focus on the past, your ass will be a has-been.
Wow. Okay. I ain't been speechless in a minute, but okay. Jason, because I know as far as our photography, like mine specifically, I look at your work and I'm always like, man, I wish I could have got that shot. Man, I wish I could have did a shot similar or something like that. Especially your Lovely Lady series, I'll put it that way. And then on top of that, your the series that you have with your with the books and everything like that, or stuff that you shoot at the products that you shoot at the bookstore. Have you dealt with imposter syndrome? Because I'm like, I know I shouldn't be comparing myself, but I do compare myself because of the fact, like, you are pretty much where I want to be as far as like taking pictures and technique and skill and everything like that. So what about you?
Wow. I didn't expect you to say that, because when I see your work, I'm like, that's where I want to be. The pictures you took of your lady were just Dude, they're phenomenal. And it's funny because my wife tells me this. She says that I shoot her and our daughter different than I shoot anybody else because you can tell when you love somebody, you shoot them differently than you do anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I forgot the question.
Like when it comes to like dealing with imposter syndrome, or like whenever you're going out to like even just to go shoot just something, because I know you go out to like different mountain canyons and stuff like that, especially in California. And didn't you go to Big Sur?
Big Sur.
Yeah. So like dealing with that portion of procrastination, like, because even for me, like in my head, when I saw that, like you post that and saying that you were going to go do that, I'm like over here saying like, man, I wish I could have done that. Have you ever found yourself in that situation?
Yeah, I have. And what I do is kind of what Steven said, write a sentence a day. I make myself take a picture a day. I don't care what it is. I don't care what camera you have. I don't care where I am. I've got to find something to take a picture of. And I live in Bakersfield, and I can't stand this place. This place is so ugly. But the one redeeming quality I think Bakersfield has for a creative is you are forced to make ugly pretty. So when I go to Monterey, when I go to Big Sur, when I go to Joshua Park, now I have these absolutely beautiful landscapes because I've already had the practice here in a city that is just very brown. There's really no history to it. There's no water. There's no green, you know? So, but this is where I live. So I've got to make the best of it, you know? So I do, and I try and I practice, shoot every day, no matter what, so that when I finally get someplace, when I finally have a model by a waterfall, I know how to shoot them because I've had nothing but ugly to practice on. So now I'm like, I'm a kid in a candy store because I have everything that I need here to make this picture beautiful. Now, as far as procrastination, yeah, that's big because I mean, I've said here that I don't like what I do. Well, honestly, I'm not 100% behind getting out of that situation. I'm working, but I'm not like burning the midnight oil to get that done. You know what I'm saying? And I admit that. But that's definitely changed with I'm with the calendars that I'm selling now. I've sold more than I have in the past 3 years because I'm actually putting forth the effort to tell people, to post, to kind of carry them with me. Because I know that for me, that marketing part of what you need to be is not strong. The going out and finding things to shoot, the making sure that I shoot, that part is strong. But getting people to notice what I'm doing, what I've done, what I'm going to do, for me, that is not my forte with the marketing part. So I'm starting to do that. I've got a long way to go, but at least I'm seeing some results with that. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
Indeed. And we're going to touch on that in a minute, especially the social media success part as well. But I'm going to pose the question to Mr. Stephen Barnes. So because we see you in a different aspect, like we have the Twilight Zone and everything like that. We have the books, we have all the major things that you have done.
Plus the upcoming stuff that's coming. I mean, we know you got something running as always, but
always, yeah. And there's a ton of stuff. This is actually I'm heading into the week that I've been working toward my entire life. I mean, just to be honest, things are great, and you don't get here without moving through layers of fear, terror, absolute. The world hates me. I can't do this. The only reason I have a career is because of affirmative action. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. I was at the deathbed of one of the greatest writers of the 20th century. And he was wondering if anybody was going to care about his work, or was going to remember him. We all have that voice that says we're not good enough never completely goes away. You have to learn that it's like the editor part of you and the flow state part of you. The part of you that writes is never as smart as the part of you that reads, because you read 10 times as much as you write. So it's always ahead. So anything you write, when you judge it, your judgment is always better than that little kid inside you that's doing the writing. So it's a nasty voice, and it says, this isn't good enough. What do you think you are? All that stuff. And I don't want to get into the specific techniques that you can use to deal with that. I'm going to talk more generally for a second, that this is the way people generally are. They are here, their fear is here, and the thing they want is on the other side of their fear, right? And they're fighting with their fear. And what they think is they have to eliminate the fear from their life in order to get the thing they want. No, you don't. That's one of the big secrets. What you can do is love the thing that you're trying to do so much that you don't care that you're afraid. If you're afraid to go into a burning house to save a book, that's one thing. But if your child is in that house, you don't care about the flames. You do what has to be done. You have to, the thing that you want to do in your life, you have to care about so much. It's like you're feeling that you're giving your heart, you're giving your energy, you're giving your time, you're willing to die to do this. At that point, your fear is here. You are here, and the thing you want is here. Your fear actually drives you because you know you're going to die. You've watched your grandparents get old and die. You've watched friends die. So you have that sense of, I have a limited amount of time to do this. What do I want to give to the world before I go? Every single morning, I wake up in the morning and I don't want to get out of bed. Who does? But then I start thinking about, who can I help today? What can I do today? How can I take another step toward the things that I need to accomplish today? And I don't get out of bed until I have my head and my heart right, until I know why I'm engaging with my day. Why am I doing this? So the thing about marketing, the only reason you don't want to market is that there's some part of you that doesn't believe that your work is as good as I'm sure it is, that you don't really believe that you're giving something to the world that the world needs. It's that, and that's that child self inside us that, used to be able to dance in the living room, and aunts and uncles would give us quarters just because we did our dance, and then we grow up and we do our dance and the world doesn't care. And it hurts us. So we have to protect our hearts. You have to tell that little boy inside you, I see your brilliance. I see your genius. I see your beauty. Daddy is going to create a safe place for you to play. That is my whole secret on one level, is the little boy inside me is alive and well and loves the dad that I am. That once again, it took me 17 years to earn my first black belt because I was dealing with so much fear. But I knew that if I did not do this thing, that fear would always control me. And when I finally learned to deal with that fear, what I thought was that I wouldn't be afraid anymore. But what I found was, no, it's that the problem wasn't that I was afraid. The problem was that I thought the fear meant something. I thought that it meant that I couldn't, or I shouldn't, or I mustn't, or I wasn't good enough. No, it didn't mean any of those things. It just meant I was afraid. It meant that my mind and body were getting ready for action. That's all fear is. That's all emotions are, is they're action signals. And once I realized that it was just, I'm afraid. Okay, I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to feel ashamed of it, because that's robbing me of the energy I need to move forward. I'm not going to deal with all that stuff. I'm afraid. I'm still going to kick your ass. And I'm afraid. In fact, you're in more trouble because I'm afraid. Because now my governors are off. My common sense is out the window. I will do anything. You've made me afraid. You haven't given me room to back down. I offered you my wallet. I apologized. I tried to walk away. You're going to back me against the wall? Now you're not dealing with me. You're dealing with my wife's husband. You're dealing with my son's father. You're trying to make my son an orphan. You're trying to make my wife a widow. Now you and me, we're going to dance now. This is not going to be pretty anymore. You left me no option to be pretty. And you have to have the same attitude about your career. This is your life. And every day you are spending another day of your life that you'll never get back. What you want to do is you want to love your woman. You want to work hard at your job. You want to dance and sing and enjoy the sun on your face. This is your life. And when you have that sense and you're saying, I found that within myself. Now that's going to flow into your work. It's going to flow into your photography and your writing. Your writing is going to be a celebration, an expression of how you really feel. And now you are offering something to the world that the world desperately needs. And marketing becomes just sharing with friends something that will save their lives. And marketing becomes easy at that point. You're just making friends and you're sharing it with them. You're saying, listen to me, this has really worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you too. Take a look at this. What do you think? And you've put in the time and the energy. And marketing and sales, is just a transfer of enthusiasm from one person to another. It's sharing something with a friend you've never met before. That's all it is. And when you have that kind of attitude, you can go out and make all the money you want because you're giving everything you've got every day. And there's no amount of money that's worth your life. And since you're giving your life for the thing that you're doing, might as well go out there and make that money.
Hey, and speaking of sharing, we definitely want to make sure that we get the host in on the sharing as well. We wanted to make sure that Mr. Woodson got his due with regard to making all of us look good. Lord knows he has definitely upgraded a lot of what I've had to do as far as my own portfolio is concerned. So I definitely want to make sure that that man right there is recognized for every last one of these ridiculous covers that he has created over the last few years. That's all I can say at this point.
I appreciate that, man. Like, I think one of the things that we like, especially even with dealing with like compliments and everything like that, I did not know how to take a compliment before this or before period, because of the fact, like, I stayed stuck in my head. Like, nobody's going to like this. Like, it looks good, but I would rather it be from somebody who, like a Chip Kidd or Peter Mendelsohn or Carrie Resnick, who's basically done this a lot. But I think for the most part, like even just within the past couple of years, I'm learning to take a compliment from just people who just appreciate the work, who appreciate like being able to look at the aesthetic or look at what I've basically done, and they see something in it. Therefore, that's value for me.
Absolutely.
Same thing with like your books. Like, man, the cover you redesigned for I don't even really know how to pronounce it, but it starts with an S.
The Samoa. Yeah, the Samoa cover.
That was a pretty great cover that you designed.
Yeah.
So
look, I took a lot of what you taught and kind of applied it where I could. Man, I had to relearn some things. Like, there were things I thought I remembered and thought I knew, and I had to relearn it. So that I took what I could relearn and I applied it. I've never been one to be so egotistical that I can never learn from someone else, regardless of where it comes from.
Indeed. I mean, even with like photography and everything like that, like I appreciate your compliment, Jason, on mine. Cause like, even when I was taking,
I never had Nikon comment on one of my pictures. Canon comment on one of yours. I was like, what the hell?
About that. See? Exactly.
But that was the thing. Like, I think for the most part, when I was even posting some of those pictures, like I wasn't necessarily focused on, like, I tagged them, but at the same time, I did not necessarily expect that to come from them. I didn't expect, like, I don't always expect people to like my work or anything like that. But like even just your compliment on my photos from Danish's shoot. Honestly, I struggled with believing that these were going to turn out great on my end. Like, she's beautiful and everything like that. But I'm like, am I doing this color correcting right? Am I basically introducing enough contrast? So it's like everything that is within our heads as authors or as people who sell books or as a photographer or anything like that. I think just even Steven's his acronym, I had to think about the word, his acronym Magic. For all that stuff. Yeah. Basically introduced a lot to,
Oh, you already got it up. There it is. Exactly.
So it introduces a lot of things that we need to think about, like especially even just the whole gratitude portion, because of the fact, like, I'm grateful to even have a camera or even to have eyes to see all these beautiful things around us, whether it be the greens from the grass or whether it be able to have the mental mindset to put some contrast on a different, like the cover for Love, Lust, and Beautiful Liars.
Yeah.
It's that thing that we have to be grateful for, that we have the creative mindset and the creative gifts that push us forward, but also getting through that fear and basically pushing through that, knocking it out the way to get to where we want to be.
Absolutely.
So, are there any last thoughts that you guys wanted to share with as far as being successful, whether it be photography, whether it be an author?
The emotional part is the most important. You don't want external success. You want what you think it's going to feel like to be a success. Okay. And there are plenty of people who make millions of dollars and are miserable. Okay. So if the emotions drive the actions and the actions lead to the results, then you should start every day by getting the gratitude that you would feel, that you think you would feel if you got the money. So like, you do that because of that beautiful woman sleeping next to you, and because you're alive and don't have COVID, whatever it is, you feel great. Now you don't feel good. You don't succeed so that you can be happy. You be happy and then go out and succeed.
Absolutely.
Man.
I think he said a mouthful in and of itself, but only thing I could add to it is just it falls back to my original mantra. You don't want to do, you want to do what feels good for you. The minute you start doing, or you feel like you need to do for the public, or that you need to create for the public, you'll eventually stop enjoying what you're doing. So you can still, it's great to have the money go with the passion, but the passion is what makes the money.
Indeed. Jason?
I know I'm a panelist, but I feel more like that's my wife there. She actually we actually did that set a while back. She because I saw pictures of photographers that had sunflowers. And Bakersfield, of course, is very void with all this stuff. So she went out and got some stuff and did her hair and got the dress, and we did this shoot a while back, and it's still one of my favorite shoots.
That works out beautifully. That was a beautiful capture.
Thanks, man.
Indeed.
So, but like I said, I'm a panelist, but good Lord, listening to Steven and Shakir, it's like I feel like I'm a attendee. I've gotten so many. Man, Steven, you've given me a lot to think about. I really do appreciate that. Some of your,
I hope we're Facebook friends. If you're not,
we are.
Okay, good. Good.
Oh, and one small thing I want to say, on IMDb, your wife's picture, I took that at the NAACP Image Awards 2016. And I was so stoked when she sent me a message saying, "Hey, Jason, can I use this picture?" It's like, can you use the picture? Hell yeah, you can use the picture.
There you go.
So that was really cool.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys for being with us and sharing your knowledge and sharing your ideas and feedback and everything like that. So I will give this time to you guys to basically tell us where you can be found, and also anything that you have out there or that is coming up. Shakir, I'm gonna go ahead and start with you.
Absolutely. Right now, I am 2 days away from the other half of myself, so to speak. I will be. I'll actually have my debut in the young adult world as of Tuesday afternoon. My first book in my young adult series, Southampton. As a matter of fact, Mr. Woodson had hands on that cover as well. As far as getting that up and running, as far as that will be available this coming Tuesday. It'll be under my pen name, PK Rashaan. I'm looking forward to this one. It's my it's my second chance at making a first impression, in a manner of speaking. So it's not Shakir, it's PK this time. I get a chance to do this all over again, so to speak. Instead of being an old head in the industry, I get to be young again, and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying that process and everything that comes along with it at this point. But yeah, it's going to be fun over the next week as far as that is. Other than that, I've got several. We've got I think I've got Decadence coming up. That is an anthology series that I'm a part of, as well as Evanescence, and I'll be a part of the Queens of the Castle. I know that cover is coming up soon as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks out, and that's everything on my end.
Website and social media.
Website, you can find me at ShakirRashaan.com. All of my social media is pointed there. You can find me everywhere from there.
Awesome. Jason, go ahead and hit us with your information, especially with that calendar information.
Basically, Jason Frost Photography across social media, period. Matter you can find me there. My calendar, you pretty much have to order through me on the Facebook page. I do have a link to my landscape photography as well on my Facebook page. So if you're looking for pictures for your home or office, I mean, really beautiful landscapes, then please check that out.
Indeed. In email, so if it's their email address for you, so they can contact you as well outside of social media?
Yeah, jasonfrostphoto@gmail.com.
Awesome. And also go ahead.
No, I just said that's me.
Indeed. And don't forget to check him out at Russo's Books, where basically he takes a lot of pictures, I will say, for Eric Jerome Dickey, but he takes a lot of amazing pictures for different books as well. Just had to throw that in there. Okay, so Mr. Stephen Barnes, go ahead and tell us your information.
Well, let's see. I've got a couple of graphic novels coming out next year. One called Eightfold Path with Charles Johnson, who wrote the Middle Passage, and about to get buried. Pray for me. I'm about to get buried with work in television stuff and movie stuff, some short stories, and so this is going to be an intense period in my life, and I'm going to be using every trick I know to stay balanced and not let myself get thrown by it. So it's going to be intense, and you can find out more about me. I'm on Facebook and StephenBarnesLife.com, my website. The self-improvement type stuff, I've had a bunch of different courses, from one on writing. Chopwoodwriting.com is one book I did on writing, and then Warrior's Journey, realwarriorsjourney.com is one of my websites, where I think the best course that I've done on the subject of life is there. But I give away as much as I can out of that course for free whenever I'm talking to people. So you can follow me on Facebook. You need to email me. Stephen@diamondhour.com will reach me. And it's been an honor to be here, gentlemen.
Indeed. This was definitely a great discussion. And I guess that's me needing to plug myself.
Yes,
So I'm J.L. Woodson. I do write books, but mostly I'm a graphic designer. I do have a book coming out, Night of Irondale. Actually, that came out already. I do believe I will be reading that tomorrow. But if you need to get in contact with me, it's jlwoodson@woodsonstudio.com. Also, my girlfriend and I have a podcast together. It's at If It Isn't Love Podcast. Definitely named after the song by New Edition. But also you can find us on Instagram. I'm at JL Woodson. I'm on Facebook at JL Woodson, pretty much all across the board. And for that podcast, you can find us at If It Isn't Love Podcast. So I'm going to end it there. I'm pretty sure there's some stuff I'm forgetting to say about myself, but I'm sure we'll get to it next time.
Absolutely.
But I want to thank you guys for sharing your knowledge with us, especially anybody who could, a lot of people can use this information, especially that acronym. I'm definitely going to apply that to my life, especially in a lot of areas that I haven't even thought of applying it. So I do, like I said, I do appreciate you guys, and I'm looking forward to the next one. And until next time, I will bid you guys adieu and say thank you and good night.
Absolutely, sir.
Namaste.
Been a pleasure, guys.
Indeed.